What's up, everybody? Renfail here. Hopefully you're doing well. Today we are diving into the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, a dark RPG set in the Arthurian myths with a little bit of a twist. So if you like the old school RPGs like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and so on and so forth, you're probably going to love this game. And if you haven't already been following along with the streams, we do it every single day at 5 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. And there's a playlist down below where you can catch all the guides and play sessions that you might have missed leading up to this point. There's quite a few things in this guide, so if at any point in time you find yourself getting lost, or maybe it's a section that you've seen something about already and you're ready to go to the next section, or you want to just pause it, go check it out, come back, there's a chapter list below that you can click on at any point in time to skip ahead or go back to a previous section, so take use of it as you will. Without further ado, let's dive into the guide, and before we go, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an update when new videos come out. So first up, we have attributes which govern your stats. So we can go through their strength, endurance, dexterity, spirituality, practicality, and perception, all of which govern with underneath it a few different things. And then over here you can see how you are affected overall. So I'm a level 30 character right now, and you can see my melee damage bonus, range damage bonus, spell power, attack speed, sneak damage. I'm a stealth archer, so my sneak damage is quite high. All the different things that your stats and attributes affect. Now, I've covered this in a different guide specifically on the stats, attributes, and the skill trees, so if you want more information on this, you can go check out that video. This is just the simplified version. You get points when you level up, which you can put into your stats, and then if at any point in time you come across gear that has different stat requirements on it, you might want to look at putting points into specific areas to suit a gear set or a weapon set that you find. But for the most part, look at what you think you want to play and put those points there accordingly. Now, the attributes tie into these skill trees, which in and of themselves are tied to the stats. So there's skill trees for strength, endurance, dex, spirituality, perception, and practicality. Since I'm a stealth archer, I've obviously put a bunch of points into perception and stealth, and then since I'm an archer, I've put a bunch of points into bows, which is under the dex line. But bows also require me to use strength, so I have put some points into strength as I have leveled up my character. So that's your basic governing principle behind stats and skill trees, is that just kind of put your points where you think you're going to want to focus. If you want to be a mage, you're going to go spirituality. If you want to be a fast character, you're going to go dex. If you want to be a healthy character with lots of hit points, you would go endurance, so on and so forth. Now, Tainted Grail is a really big game. What happens if you get 30 levels into the game, 30 hours into the game, and you decide that you don't want to do this anymore? You want to change your stats. Or what if you come across a piece of armor, like I have this assassin set which requires dex and perception. Maybe I don't have the right stats. Maybe I put my stats into dexterity and endurance instead of perception. So there's pieces of gear you can find that you might want to respec for, or you might come across not just that, but you might get deep into the game and decide that you don't like the way the archer plays, and you might want to put your points somewhere else. Like maybe you want to go into attack speed instead, but you've buried all your points in bows. Well, you can use these really cool items called origin potions, which you can use to respec. Let me go over here, and it's these blue potions right here. You can find origin potions as you level up through the game. You will find them in various places. You can also purchase them off specific vendors in the major cities, and use those to respec at any point in time. That being said, they are very expensive to purchase, like 1,500 gold, and they are not just readily available everywhere all the time. So using these is a case of, I would say, anytime you're going to want to use an origin potion, do a hard save. There is a difference between a hard save and a quick save. So when you go in here, you could do a hard save directly via saving here. And if you look through here, there's auto saves, quick saves, and then slot number whatever. That's the slot you would put a hard save into. Quick saving is done by holding the radio menu and hitting the Y button, which brings up the quick save. So there's 3 types of saves: quick save, auto save, hard save. Do a hard save into a specific slot That way you know exactly what slot that is. Use the origin potion to respec. Go try out the new spec that you have. If you don't like it, go back to that hard save. And just keep that hard save on file. You'll never overwrite it unless you forcefully do so. Like you're manually required to overwrite the manual saves. That way you can use the origin potions at whenever you want and then respec and try something new out. Now every time you're going to level up your character, you're going to need to pull out a bonfire in the case of being out in the wild, and you're going to want to rest, or level up, excuse me. We'll get into that in a second. So when you want to level up, you use your bonfire and you click the level up button. If you have points available to spend, you will spend them here in the attributes skill trees section of this area. But you could do a lot more with campfires than just level up. You'll also notice that you can rest. This is where you can pass the time freely at any point in time. Note that you can't always place these. For the most part you can place them, but if you're too close to water, or if you're in a zone where, like a deep dungeon where you're not allowed to use a bonfire, or if you're in a city, sometimes you won't be able to place them in specific areas. But I would say that like 95% of the time I have wanted to place a campfire, I have been able to. So for the most part you can use these wherever you want. So you can rest here, you can level up here, you can also cook. And this is where you can go into your recipe list and choose to cook whatever you want. But you can also use fuel, which are the cobwebs that you find, or the ethereal, I forget exactly what they're called, the ethereal things, which you can farm at nighttime. And you can use those to then identify items that you might have, which are these items right here. And you could say, I'm going to spend that resource to like choose to identify an item. You can also then use those to fast travel, or you can also do alchemy at your bonfire, which is the other way that you can craft in this game, where you can make potions. And again, you have a bunch of recipes tied to different things. You can go through the different tiers and available recipes and craft like from the campfire. So that's, you use the campfire to level up, you use it to cook, you use it to pass time, and you use it to do a lot of other stuff if you have the resources to use the special section, the Ethereal Cobwebs, to use the specialty functions at the campfire. Generally speaking, fast travel in the game is done from these fast travel waypoints, which you can find scattered throughout the game. You must first find and unlock fast travel icons to be able to use them, these statues. You saw at the campfire a minute ago, if you have your specialty campfire open, you can fast travel from your campfire to any of these that you have unlocked, but you must first unlock these to be able to use them. Once you have unlocked them, you can use them to travel to any other fast travel icon that you have unlocked. Currently, we have these 3 maps available. We're in the Forlorn Sword, so I could go over to Kunokt, and I could look for these icons right here. And you'll notice that when you hover over it, it gives you the fast travel options. I have one there, I have one there, I have one over here. There's one over here, but you first must uncover them by exploring all the nooks and crannies of the map. We go back to the Horns of the South, we'll find other ones here. So you can fast travel freely. You must not be in combat. But once you've unlocked a fast travel waypoint, you can travel to any other fast travel waypoint on the map, any time of the day or night. You just can't be in combat is the only caveat to using that. And of course, like I said, if you want to use the Ethereal Cobwebs at your campfire, you can also fast travel from there. So Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, is an active skill system, meaning that in order to level up your abilities, you must actively use those abilities. So anytime you're out in the wild, be sprinting, be running, be jumping, doing all these different things, because this helps you level up your endurance related statistics. Similarly, they're just like agility just went up because I was jumping around like that. And my athletics just went up as well. So anytime you're out in the wild, be running around doing that stuff. When you're in cities, actively be using your sneak to sneak around and actively level up your sneak. All of your combat abilities, whether it's the bow or your blades or two-handed weapons, sword and shield, all of these abilities are based on active use. So if you want to get better with archery, you have to be actively using your bow. Fishing, I don't know if we can fish here in this little river here. We might be able to. Is it gonna bob? It might not be deep enough to go fishing here. I might need to sneak up here a little bit. The point is, everything you do in this game that relates to your skills is based on active use. So if you want to be leveling up, you have to be using your abilities at all times. I don't think there's anything to fish here because it's not deep enough. Yeah, we're going to pull it up. So always be jumping, always be running, always be sneaking, always be stabbing, always be shooting. Just if you want to level up an ability, you have to actively use it, because if you don't get any points. So it's not anything passive in this game. Everything is based on active use. So you got to be out there adventuring if you want to level up in the skills of the game. Stash boxes are your friend. You are going to find stash boxes in various major locations throughout the game. They are shared throughout the game globally, so anywhere that you can access a stash box, it's your stash box. It has all your stuff in it. Stash boxes are incredibly important because it allows you to not be encumbered, and it allows you to put items in that you might want to hold on for later use, or to store your crafting materials. And I would say the crafting material storage is the most important thing, because this helps you not be encumbered if you are someone who is a low strength character like I am, because I've been playing an archer thief. So I would always come in here, and you're going to look until you can go to the crafting tab, and then you just start dumping everything in here just like this, because not only does it help you avoid being encumbered, the other thing about the stash box is that you can craft at any crafting station, and it pulls the items directly from your stash box, so you do not have to have those items on your inventory when you craft. If you are crafting at a crafting station in a town, it will draw from the stash box and allow you to craft directly from here, so you don't have to be worrying about handling and hauling all of these materials around with you. Just every time you're back in town, stash everything in the stash box, find your local crafting stations, and you're good to go. Speaking of crafting, you're going to be spending a lot of time in this game crafting. Well, at least I would anticipate you're going to be spending a lot of time crafting, because you're going to be making a lot of different things, especially related to food and alchemy, which is potions. But you're also going to be looking for these grindstones, which are like the blacksmith tables, because this is where you could do a lot of different things. You can handcraft items, and that's related to you could make weapons, you could make arrows, you could make armor of all different types, and then it will show you the your chance for success based upon your skill rating, as well as the required materials in order to craft these things. But you can also upgrade any of your items at these stations. You can also attach relics. So if you have a bow like this one, you can go down here and say, I want to add a relic to this. So you're going to unlock the relic slot for 500 coins. Then you're going to click that and say, well, what do I want to put on here? I want that's frenzy. This applies burning. I'll take that. And then you're going to click attach relic. Boom. Now my bow adds a burn effect when it does an attack. You can also do armor weight reduction. So I believe all of my pieces, that one was not, but now they are. Every single piece of armor I'm wearing has 0 weight. Oh, that's not true. This one doesn't have it either. It does now. So, I guess maybe it was the other set that I had that was 0 weight. Most of these had 0 weight. This one still has a weight onto it. But you can use the bits and pieces that you find in the wild to reduce your the weight. Now that's at the grindstone, which is the primary crafting station. There's also alchemy tables, which is where you can do your alchemy. I believe there's one in here, but it's the same layout and system as the cooking. So I just wanted to show you guys the cooking, because it's the same thing for alchemy. First and foremost is you're going to look at your available ingredients. Ingredients can be found in the wild by reading books that you find, or also by buying recipe books from NPCs, and you will unlock various recipes to make different things, like mashed potatoes, which requires this, and then you can just boom, click that, you craft the items, you're good to go. You're going to be doing a lot of food cooking and a lot of potion creating in this game to keep yourself. A lot of it, I would argue this is a lot like The Witcher 3 in that regards, is that you're going to be doing a lot of potion crafting and cooking to give yourself buffs, especially if you're playing on the harder difficulties of the game. Potion making also allows you to do like the splashed items which you can throw, the bombs that you can throw, and then the effects that you can coat your weapons with, like poison, chilling, burning damage, so on and so forth. So prepare to be doing a lot of crafting in the game. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Now, regen from food, it's very important to pay attention to this, because if you're going to notice all of these foods, you'll see things like applies X amount of health over Y amount of seconds, right? And it goes up depending on, the stats and how complex the item is, and what other things it might do. Like, that's also going to increase stamina regeneration. It's very important that you pay attention to the time. So it's going to restore X amount of health over 60 seconds. What that means is that if your health is low, let's see if I can find something to jump off of here and like crash my health really quick. I don't know if there's anything high enough that I can jump off of which will allow me to take damage. To visually demonstrate this, probably not. Yeah, I don't think I can get anything high enough, but let's... Okay, I took a little bit of damage. So, you'll need to make sure that you have a food item in your hot slot, or if you use the radial menu, you can do it from here and click use. Well, however you want to do it, what you're going to notice is that the empty space, however much red you took away, the empty space will become filled with a white bar, which then begins to fill up. And depending on what type of food you're eating is how quickly it will fill up. But what's important to note is that the time that it tells you on the food item, the maximum amount of time that it tells you, is the maximum amount of time that regeneration will last. So let's say you were half health and you needed 50 points to get to full health, but the item that you're eating restores 170 points over 60 seconds. It's going to refill those 50 points, but you've still got 120 points left in reserve, which means it will keep regenerating those hit points if you're taking damage for the duration of the potion. So those really nice, longer lasting foods are great to use in combat scenarios to blend with potions, because potions are instant use, instant heal. But the foods have an ongoing regeneration effect up to the maximum amount of hit points healed for those potions. So I barely use potions ever. I mostly just use food because I'm a ranged character who's constantly like lunging to get away. So I very rarely am getting close enough to be attacked, because I'm always like, no, get away, get away. And so what I'll do is I'll just keep a food regen item, like a higher level food regen item, going when my cats are being obnoxious over in the corner, guys, if you can hear that. They're fighting with each other over a spot in the bed. But just remember that, because a food item, like lower level food items, will only restore like 10 hit points, but bigger food items that do like 150 points or more have a long regen effect on them, and you'll want to save those for longer fights where you're going to be taking lots of damage, like boss fights and stuff. And then just remember that it's always going to be regenning until it either runs out of the time or it regens the maximum amount of hit points available for that food item. There's also some crafted items that you can use that for potions, but the healing potions themselves are instant use, but there's other things that are potions which have over time as well. So remember how we told you about campfires, and how in order to use these specialty items at campfires, you have to have this fuel, which is Ethereal Cobwebs, which you'll notice up at the top. I have 225 of those. How do you get Ethereal Cobwebs? Well, they can only be farmed at night, and generally speaking, you have to be killing like weird beasts and other monsters and creatures that only come out at nighttime in order to get those. You'll also find harvesting nodes that you can harvest the Ethereal Cobwebs from. It's very important to understand that when you want to use the specialty items at a fire pit, at a bonfire, you have to spend fuel. And the only way to get that fuel is to go find it. So generally speaking, the best thing to do is, if you're looking to farm Ethereal Cobwebs, is you just get it up until it's nighttime. We get to like 11 o'clock at night, midnight or whatever. Fast forward till it's nighttime. Now it's nighttime. Now we can actually leave the safety of the city, and we can go out there and find creatures and monsters that we can fight, which will allow us to gather cobwebs. And it's pretty much anything beyond the rune wall that provides us with safety netting here in the city. So the rune wall is another fun thing. This is at nighttime, and you'll notice there's this wall right here which has a bunch of runes on it, which is protecting the city here. This protects any of the major cities and outposts that you come across. And basically what happens is when you cross this veil, you're now into the danger zone. And you're going to notice we're at night. The music changes. Everything's dangerous out here at nighttime. You're going to find monsters out here. You'll be able to get your cobwebs. You'll be able to, there's also this giant monster which I haven't figured out how to kill yet, who hunts you down. I always run from him when he pops out. He's like a giant creature in the mist, and he hunts you. And I've yet to figure out a way to kill him, which I'm assuming is tied to later game and like a weapon or something that we haven't found yet. Or maybe it's just an unkillable mob. I don't know. But the big thing is that there's something out there in the mist right now. Is that him or something else? No, that's just a deer. The big thing is that if you ever find yourself being chased by enemies, remember that you can't use fast travel. I think he just spawned. There he is. He's coming for me. If this ever happens, run. Run back to the shield wall. The bell is always the notifier that he's there. Run back to the shield wall. He can't come at you from the shield wall. So the moment you pop through the shield wall, he disappears. So the shield wall is your friend. That rune shield is your friend at nighttime. So if you're ever in doubt, or you're trying to get away and you're trying to survive and you're not able to fast travel because you're in combat, just look for the nearest city, hopefully you're close to one, and head for the shield wall, because the moment that you cross through the shield wall, you'll be safe and they can't attack you anymore. So this is the safe place. Go back to your safe place, kids. You'll be fine. Alright, so harvesting in the game requires tools. Now, man, I want his job. Snoring on the job. The harvesting tools in this game count as weapons, which means you have to equip them to use them, and they take up one of your 4 active weapon slots. And they also take up inventory space, and they are listed as weapons. They're listed as 2-handed weapons. So you're going to want a shovel. I have a weird shovel and a normal shovel. You're going to want a pickaxe. You're going to want a wood cutting axe, and you're going to want a fishing pole. I have an extra. Here's something very, very, very important. The game will not allow you to sell items that you have equipped, but generally speaking, you're going to have a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, and probably only 2 harvesting items equipped, which means some of these are not going to be equipped. And when you go to sell trash or sell items at a vendor, it is very easy. I have done this multiple times. I have accidentally sold my pickaxe or my foresting axe multiple times. Try not to do that. It is one of those quality of life things that hopefully they add to the game later, some sort of a tagging system or a way to, mark things as unsellable. But the big thing to understand is that you must have harvesting items on you to harvest nodes of iron, things of that nature. To dig up treasure, you'll need a shovel, so on and so forth. You have to have those items in your inventory, and when you come up to a node, it will automatically equip the item and you will start using it, but you must have it in your inventory to be able to harvest. So always keep harvesting tools on you. Yes, they carry up weight, but it's very important so that you have the resources needed to craft better weapons, to upgrade your gear, to be able to complete quests. Many quests will require objects that can be harvested in the game world, whether it's ore or tendrils or things of that nature. You will always be harvesting something or fishing items from rivers and lakes, so make sure you have your harvesting tools on you at all times. Now, for those of you who are always looking for wood, there is a special respawning wood area over here where you can chop wood. This is in the first area that you come to. This is Horns of the South. This is the first encampment that you'll come to. The first town, the Horns of the South, and it's back here in the back corner, right here on the map is where we're located. Just make sure you mark that down. You're gonna find this chopping area, and this respawns, I think it's every 24 hours unless it's patched and been changed, but essentially you can come here and chop wood as long as you have a chopping axe, and you're gonna notice it takes half of a wood each time you do this. So we can go through here, and it gives you 2 wood each time you do this. So if you're like me and you are an archer, I burn through a boatload of arrows, which require wood to make. So I try to come back here every day, no matter where I am in the world, because I can fast travel back here for free, and I harvest all the wood, and then I wait for that to respawn, because that gives me enough wood to make my latest rounds of arrows. So there you have it, everybody. That is my ultimate beginner's guide to Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. If you found it useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams happen at 5 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch, and there's a ton of other guides that I've already done for this game down in the playlist below, plus more that will be coming out. So make sure to check the list to see if there's guides that I might have already done that cover things you need, or if you have a special request for something that I haven't yet done, let me know in the comments below, and I will make a guide to accommodate. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you're staying safe out there. Happy gaming.